Welcome to the heart of Amsterdam's old Jewish quarter, where a house stands as a monument to one of the greatest artists of all time, Rembrandt van Rijn. This is the Rembrandt House Museum. Built in 1606, it was a striking home that Rembrandt, already a wealthy and renowned painter, purchased in 1639 at the age of 33 for the considerable sum of 13,000 guilders. The restoration of the house relied heavily on official records. When Rembrandt was declared bankrupt, every single possession was carefully inventoried before auction. These descriptions, along with Rembrandt's own drawings, allowed curators to furnish the rooms precisely as they were in his day. In the kitchen, it was always warm and comfortable. This is where food was prepared and consumed, and conversations were held. The kitchen was the center of the household. The counter was bathed in light, and there was an indoor water pump. At that time, in the early 17th century, the maid would sleep in the box bed in the kitchen. This is the main hall, also known as the grand entrance. It was Rembrandt's living room. This grand entrance communicated Rembrandt's status, serving as a waiting area and a space for receiving clients, patrons, and art dealers. It also had a box bed. Separate bedrooms didn't exist yet. There have always been a lot of paintings on these walls. Now, there are beautiful paintings on display from Peter Losman, who taught Rembrandt in Amsterdam. The first period of Rembrandt's life here was spent with his wife, Saskia van Eulenburg. Rembrandt married Saskia in 1634. She was a beautiful, educated woman from a wealthy family, and she quickly became his muse, appearing in many of his most joyous and lavish paintings. They lived a life of relative luxury here, having several children, though sadly only one, Titus, survived infancy. Their happiness was tragically cut short when Saskia died in 1642, just 9 years after their marriage, likely from tuberculosis. After her death, Rembrandt continued to live and work in the house, raising Titus with the help of his later partners, Geertje Dirks and Hendrikje Stoffels. However, his expensive tastes and business misfortunes eventually caught up with him. By 1656, his financial empire crumbled, and he was forced to leave the house, stripped of virtually all his possessions. One of the most fascinating rooms in the house was the art room. Rembrandt was an obsessive collector, filling this room with a cabinet of curiosities, a mix of artificialia, objects made by human hands, and naturalia, objects from nature, like shells and exotic plants. This passion was a double-edged sword. While these unusual objects, like fancy helmets and lances, served as examples for him and his students when painting historical scenes, this obsession with collecting ultimately cost him a fortune and contributed to his destitution. The house today has a meticulously reconstructed collection, as the originals were all sold off after his bankruptcy. The heart of the house for Rembrandt was his studio. It was here, in 1642, that he likely painted his most famous work, the monumental Civic Guard portrait known globally as the Night Watch. Rembrandt designed his studio to be ideal for a painter. It faced north, which ensured a clean, even spread of light throughout the day. To soften and diffuse this light even further, he hung a piece of linen over one of the windows. This control of illumination was vital to his style, a dramatic technique called chiaroscuro, or the playing with light and dark. This skill would become one of the main hallmarks of his work. While Rembrandt focused on the brushwork, his students or co-workers handled the arduous task of paint preparation. This involved grinding rocks and pigments into fine powders, then mixing them with linseed oil to create the rich, vibrant colors he used. Beyond oil painting, Rembrandt was an unparalleled master of etching. The Rembrandt House Museum has a nearly complete collection of his etchings and is the only museum in the world that permanently has the famous artist's etchings on display. Let's talk about the etching techniques. Unlike engraving, where lines are cut directly into a copper plate, etching is a chemical process. First is preparation. A copper plate is first coated with a layer of acid-resistant wax, known as the ground. Then, drawing. The artist then uses a needle to draw through the ground, exposing the copper underneath. The next step is biting. The plate is submerged in an acid bath. The acid bites only the exposed copper lines, creating grooves. The longer the plate stays in the acid, the deeper and darker the lines will print. Final step is printing. After the ground is removed, ink is forced into these grooves, and the plate is run through a press with damp paper, transferring the image. Rembrandt utilized this process with incredible virtuosity and precision to represent the most varied themes, from biblical scenes and landscapes to human figures and self-portraits. Though Rembrandt was forced to leave in 1658, his spirit and his work endure here. The museum today is a combination of the beautifully restored historic house and a new wing that houses the large etching collection. The Rembrandt House Museum is a powerful reminder of the genius, the personal tragedy, and the financial ruin that defined the life of the Dutch Golden Age's master painter. A trip here is a walk not just through a house, but through the pivotal 2 decades of a legendary life.